dive in, I have to tell you, today isn't any old day. Today, I've got a now.
It is, Emma. It's very different.
No. I wonder.
It was supposed to be just another glittering evening in Beverly Hills, a private dinner buzzing with Hollywood's most powerful faces, soft jazz playing in the background, and champagne glasses clinking under that golden, buttery candlelight. But by the end of that night, Meghan Markle's flawless mask would crack wide open, because sitting just a few seats away from her was the one woman she never thought would turn on her, Emma Grede. Yes, that Emma, the powerhouse co-founder of Skims, the woman who helped build the Kardashian empire, and someone who apparently had finally had enough of Meghan's polished act.
Sound from a business infrastructure point of view.
According to multiple insiders who were present that night, what started off as polite small talk quickly morphed into a masterclass in social evisceration. And Meghan, she did not take it well. Let's rewind for a second. This wasn't just any dinner. This was an invite-only soiree, hosted at the home of a major Hollywood agent. One of those inner circles where everyone knows everyone's secrets but pretends not to. Meghan had arrived early, glowing, dressed to command the room in a sleek black gown that practically screamed, "I belong here." She floated through the crowd like she owned the place, greeting producers, influencers, philanthropists, smiling that well-rehearsed smile. Harry wasn't there. This was her night, a solo performance to remind LA's power players that Meghan Markle was still the woman to know. What she didn't know was that Emma was also on the guest list.
America's richest self-made women by
Hey now.
Richest. Grede is the co-founder and CEO.
For those who don't follow Hollywood's business side, Emma Grede is no lightweight. She's a British business mogul, the mind behind Skims and Good American, and a close collaborator of Kris Jenner. She's fashion royalty, not the crown and castle kind, but the billion-dollar brands and private jets kind. And that's exactly where things got complicated. Years ago, Meghan had reportedly tried to cozy up to Emma, hoping to lock her in as a powerful ally, maybe even land a brand partnership. Meghan wanted Emma to help build her empire the same way she helped Kim Kardashian turn Skims into a global phenomenon. But Emma saw right through it. She's known for sniffing out inauthenticity from a mile away. And word is, she just wasn't buying Meghan's vision. So fast forward to this dinner, and the air between them, thick with tension. Guests noticed the moment Meghan spotted Emma. Her bright smile froze, just for a second, but long enough to reveal that little flicker of resentment. Still, Meghan being Meghan, she powered through. She launched into her charm mode, talking about her new projects, her women's empowerment work, her big plans to redefine storytelling through purpose. For a little while, it was fine, until Emma spoke.
Never in a million years would I understand it as much as I do now. Being here, right? Being here. And what has been echoed.
Emma Grede isn't the type to make a scene. She's refined, articulate, effortlessly confident. But when she speaks, people listen, because Emma has receipts. So when Meghan started talking about her unique approach to empowering women through brand identity, Emma calmly set her wine glass down and, without raising her voice, delivered a blow sharper than any scream could be. Empowerment isn't a hashtag, Meghan. It's consistency. It's follow-through. You can't sell people a dream if you haven't built anything real. And just like that, the room froze. Forks paused midair, heads turned. Meghan blinked, stunned, trying to muster a half laugh. "Well, I suppose we all have our own approaches," she tried, her voice just a little too light. But Emma wasn't finished. She leaned in, not aggressively, just with the kind of quiet authority that can slice a person in half without leaving a mark. "Approaches are fine," Emma continued, "but if you're telling women you're building something for them, you've got to show up, not for the cameras. For the work, the social balance shifted, and Meghan, she felt it. Witnesses say Meghan tried to recover, pivoting to her upcoming ventures, vaguely dropping hints about her lifestyle brand. But Emma's words had already landed like a dagger. The table wasn't nodding politely anymore. They were looking at Emma. Irony stung like salt. Meghan had come to this dinner to network her way back into Hollywood's inner sanctum. Instead, she'd walked straight into a trap she didn't even see coming. One source described the tension as so thick you could slice it with a knife. Meghan turned defensive. She started listing her philanthropic work, her Invictus Games efforts, her charity projects, but Emma countered gently, almost sweetly. "Intentions don't build legacy, Meghan. Execution does." That was the nail in the coffin. Guests swear they saw Meghan's eyes well up, though she tried to disguise it as laughter. One even claimed she muttered under her breath, "I don't need to prove myself to anyone." But the damage was done. Conversations picked up again, but no one tried to bring her back into the spotlight. Emma, meanwhile, continued chatting with producers like nothing had happened. By dessert, Meghan was barely speaking. She fidgeted with her napkin, smiled through clenched teeth, and made an early exit. Paparazzi outside caught her leaving with that tight, forced grin. But insiders at the table said that once she got into her car, her entire facade collapsed. Her face was flushed, hands shaking. She looked furious and humiliated. And of course, this is Hollywood. Nothing stays private for long. Within 24 hours, whispers of the dinner showdown were everywhere. The narrative? Meghan Markle had been put in her place by one of the most respected businesswomen in Hollywood. Meghan's team scrambled to spin it as a healthy exchange between two strong women. But the people who were actually there, they knew better. It wasn't a debate, it was a dismantling. Emma had quietly said out loud what many in Hollywood had whispered for months. Meghan talked about building an empire, but she hadn't actually built anything. No successful company, no follow-up podcast, no solid film deals, just photo ops, PR buzz, and unfinished ideas. And the cruelest part? Emma didn't raise her voice. She didn't insult her. She simply held up a mirror. And in Hollywood, when someone like Emma questions your credibility, it sticks. By the next morning, the story had broken containment. What was supposed to be an exclusive whispered about dinner had exploded into full-blown gossip wildfire. Meghan was livid. Sources close to her said her Montecito home was like a pressure cooker. She woke up to frantic calls from her publicist, Page Six, Deux Moi. Even the Hollywood Reporter had picked up whispers about the dinner. The details were fuzzy, but the damage was already underway. Inside sources say Meghan snapped. She paced, cried, snapped at her team. She couldn't believe the story leaked so fast. She thought everyone at that table was safe. But the real punch, it wasn't just that the story leaked, it was how people were talking about it. The tone wasn't sympathetic. It wasn't poor Meghan. It was mockery. Cold, cutting, gleeful mockery. Hollywood was eating it up. Emma Grede, meanwhile, didn't say a word publicly. No Instagram posts, no cryptic subtweets, no denial, just silence. And that silence? It was deafening. It made Emma look poised, powerful, untouchable. While Meghan's team scrambled, Emma radiated calm. TikTok began recycling Emma's old interviews about authentic leadership and actually building things. Clips went viral with captions like, "This is the energy she brought to that dinner." Meghan's name wasn't even mentioned, but everyone knew who they were talking about. Within days, her PR team was in crisis mode. Narrative shaping, urgent phone calls, emergency strategy meetings. They tried to spin the story before it hardened, but reputation is a brutal thing. Once blood hits the water, no amount of PR bleach can clean it up. Even Meghan's old media allies went silent. No Vogue puff pieces, no friendly segments on morning shows, just radio silence, which in PR terms is worse than a hit piece. It meant people weren't sure which side to be on. Behind the scenes, Meghan's anger turned personal. She reportedly called around, demanding to know who leaked. Her staff bore the brunt of her fury. She felt betrayed, one source said, not just by the leak, but by Hollywood itself. She thought she'd finally re-earned her spot in those circles, but the whispers just kept multiplying. A viral tweet summed it up brutally. Emma Grede ended Meghan Markle's brand before it even launched with one dinner and a glass of wine. Harsh? Maybe, but it reflected a shift. What once would have been tabloid chatter was now being analyzed by actual business experts. They started asking uncomfortable questions. Where's the product? Where's the follow-up to archetypes? Where's the execution? Everything Emma had implied, subtly but devastatingly, was now being shouted online. And that's when Meghan reportedly snapped again. According to insiders, she ordered her team to craft a comeback plan, a bold one. The strategy? A female founders panel at a high-profile Beverly Hills event. A chance for Meghan to take back her narrative, show the world she was still a respected businesswoman. But then, plot twist, Emma Grede was already scheduled to speak at the same event. The media smelled drama from a mile away. Commentators began speculating. Would Meghan show up? Would there be a rematch, or would she quietly back out? She backed out. Officially, due to schedule conflicts. Unofficially, she couldn't risk another public humiliation. When Emma was asked about it during her panel, she didn't shade Meghan. She didn't even name her. She just smiled, sipped her water, and said, "I don't entertain gossip. I'm too busy working one sentence. Calm, sharp, final." And once again, Emma won the public battle without even trying. Back in Montecito, Meghan's inner circle began to fracture. Friends who once posted glowing selfies with her went quiet. Invitations dried up. The phone that once buzzed with constant praise, silent. Harry, caught in the middle, reportedly tried to console her. But this wasn't just about Emma. It was about everything. The failed Spotify deal, the Netflix doubts, the fading influence. All of it came crashing down in one brutal wave. By the end of that week, this wasn't just gossip anymore. It had become symbolism. Meghan Markle, the self-branded modern feminist icon, had been dethroned. Not by a royal scandal, but by a quiet, poised businesswoman who simply told her the truth. And in Hollywood, where truth is a rare and dangerous luxury, that was the ultimate humiliation. Because while Meghan stormed behind closed gates plotting how to regain control, Emma Grede just kept doing what she always does, building, winning, and walking away unbothered. Meghan tried to build an empire on image. Emma built hers on results. And when those two worlds collided, only one survived. In the weeks that followed, the fallout only grew louder. Whispers had turned into headlines, headlines into think pieces, and think pieces into late-night monologues. Meghan's team worked overtime, pitching polished narratives, booking friendly outlets, trying to remind the world who she once was, but the story that stuck wasn't theirs. Hollywood doesn't forgive easily, and it never forgets a public humiliation. People weren't talking about her projects anymore. They were talking about that dinner, that one moment when the room shifted away from her and towards someone who had actually built something real. Insiders revealed that Meghan became obsessed with image control, holding back-to-back strategy meetings, asking her team to fix the narrative. But no amount of spin could erase the fact that Emma's quiet confidence had left a permanent crack in Meghan's carefully constructed facade. What hurt Meghan the most wasn't just the mockery. It was the silence of those she once considered allies. Influencers, stylists, producers, the same people who used to rush to her defense were suddenly unavailable or on vacation. In Hollywood, that silence speaks louder than any insult. And while Meghan was spiraling, Emma didn't have to lift a finger. She didn't clap back. She didn't post cryptic messages. She simply kept winning, and that burned the most. For Meghan, this wasn't just a bruised ego anymore. It was the kind of public blow that lingers, the kind that rewrites how people see you.